shadows of a fallen world, Greece should have died. Its kings were gone, its palaces silent, its writing erased. For 3 centuries, the land lay shrouded in darkness. No monuments, no records, no glory, just scattered villages clinging to survival. Yet instead of collapsing forever, something remarkable happened. New voices rose from the darkness, ordinary people who would reshape history without realizing it. Farmers who became citizens, villages that became nations, communities that invented a way of life the world had never seen. How did a shattered land give birth to the idea that would define Western civilization? How did Greece create the Polis? In the centuries after the Bronze Age collapse, Greece entered a period of quiet rebuilding. Villages dotted the landscape, small, fragile, but determined. They had no kings to guide them, no bureaucracies to command them, no linear B tablets recording their grain supplies. What they did have was community, memory, and an instinct to survive. Slowly, almost imperceptibly, these scattered villages began growing. Not through conquest, through cooperation. Families formed clans, clans formed tribes. Tribes built new social structures around shared rituals, shared shrines, shared harvest festivals. People who had once lived isolated lives began gathering regularly for worship, for trade, for protection. Out of this fragile network emerged a revolutionary concept: shared power, shared identity, shared destiny. But unity did not come easily. Rival villages competed for land, water, and influence. Leaders clashed over traditions, religious rituals, and authority. Blood feuds erupted over insults and borders. Every valley had its own customs, its own gods, its own version of how things should be done. And everywhere, the haunting memory of the Mycenaean collapse created a lingering fear. What if too much power concentrated in one place again? This fear pushed communities to experiment with new ways of organizing life. Instead of one king ruling all, councils formed. Assemblies met in open spaces. Elders advised. Warriors debated. Decisions were made collectively, piece by piece, rule by rule. It was messy. It was slow. It was unprecedented. Yet beneath this progress, a new tension simmered. How do you balance freedom with order when no one is fully in charge? Historians once believed the polis was invented deliberately, a political breakthrough crafted by wise leaders studying philosophy and law. But archaeology reveals a different truth. The polis evolved unintentionally, almost accidentally. It was not designed, it emerged. As populations recovered and grew, villages naturally fused with nearby settlements. What began as separate communities sharing a hilltop shrine gradually became something more. Sacred sites became communal meeting grounds. Markets expanded into permanent agoras, public squares where anyone could speak. Defensive walls began encircling entire communities rather than single rulers' palaces. And in this organic merging, something revolutionary took shape, so subtle that no one noticed they were creating the future. A city-state where every citizen shared responsibility for its survival. The polis wasn't imposed by kings or conquerors. It wasn't copied from older civilizations. It grew from the ground up, from people who simply needed a better way to live together. The polis was created by the people, for the people. By 800 BCE, Greece had transformed. Places like Athens, Sparta, Corinth, and Argos, once minor villages huddled around hilltop shrines, had become organized city-states with identities stronger than any kingdom before them. They developed their own laws, trained their own armies, administered their own justice, minted their own coins. But more than that, they developed something intangible: civic pride. For the first time in history, community loyalty mattered as much as bloodline. Citizens defended their polis not because a king demanded it, but because the polis was part of who they were. It was their identity, their home, their legacy. And as these new city-states grew, they laid the groundwork for ideas that would transform the world. Citizenship, public debate, accountability, shared power, the rule of law. The polis became Greece's greatest invention, greater than any temple, any statue, any philosophical treatise, because the polis wasn't just a place, it was an idea. The rise of the polis was not just a political evolution, it was the rebirth of Greece itself. A land once defined by palaces and warrior kings was now defined by people and ideas. The Mycenaean world was gone, but in its place grew something far more resilient. A network of communities bound not by submission to a ruler, but by voluntary participation in something larger than themselves. Yet with growth came complexity. As the polis expanded, so did their ambitions. Rivalries returned, not between kings, but between competing visions of what a city-state should be. Ideologies clashed. Athens chose one path. Sparta chose another. Corinth, Thebes, Argos, each developed its own character, its own values, its own destiny. And the stage was set for a new kind of conflict. Not a war of conquest, but a battle of ideas that would shape the destiny of Greece forever. Because the next question became unavoidable. What does it mean to be Greek when every polis is different?